Hi, my name's Lindsay Savage, and I'm going to be going over how to judge Lincoln Douglas debate in an online setting. So the first thing we're going to go over is how to get into Tab Room and log in and what you're going to see. So first, you're going to go to tabroom.com and you'll log in up here, pretty self-explanatory. And on the morning of the tournament, your page will probably look like this. You will see a link through this button to get to the judges lounge. And then there will also be a link here to get to the squad room, which is where we check in the morning of the tournament to make sure everyone is ready to go. So this is what you'll see Saturday morning. The judges lounge, what usually happens with this is there will be a meeting before the tournament starts of all the judges, where the tournament directors will kind of go over how the day will be and answer any questions. Usually this is a little lengthier at the beginning of the year because people tend to have a lot of questions, but I do suggest kind of checking it out, listening, and asking a question if you need help. But this is a place where you'll go if anything happens during the tournament. So once you've logged in and you see this, this is what it will look like when you get a ballot. So on this, usually to get to this page, you'll have to click your email address up here if it's not showing up for you. So if you log into Tab Room and you don't see your ballots, usually if you click your email address, your ballots will come up, or you can hit upcoming under judging. And this is where the ballots will populate. You should only see one at a time. It's going to tell you what round it is and what event. So it'll say Lincoln Douglas round 1 or round 2. We're going to be online, so this will say NSDA campus, the time the round needs to start, and then who the debaters are and whether or not they're on the affirmative or the negative. Something that's not on this page that you will also see is you'll see a button that looks like this with a video camera, and that's going to take you to the virtual debate room. So when the round starts, you need to click the blue button or green button with the camera in it to get to the virtual room, and then you'll also hit start round. And when you hit start round, that's going to open the ballot up for you. And that will look like this. So all of the balloting and decisions are made online. This is a ballot for policy, but it will look exactly the same for Lincoln Douglas, only there'll just be one name per side as it's one-on-one debate. In the ballot, you're going to give each competitor a speaker points, and then you'll also decide who won the debate. So just to make sure there aren't any errors, you do have to select that twice. So which person do you think should win? And then are they on the affirmative or the negative? And that ensures that you don't accidentally pick the negative's name, but then give the win to the affirmative. It just makes sure the right person wins. In our in Walkful, who we're debating with, they don't really do low point wins. So the winning side should always get more speaker points than the losing side. And I'll go over that in a little bit. You'll also give a reason for decision. So this is what the top of the ballot looks like. And then if you scroll down, you'll see this. So reason for decision goes to both teams. And you will, or should, really explain why you picked the winning team, and it's kind of an expected thing judges do. It's really helpful for coaches and the competitors to understand why which team won. And then in these individual tabs, it'll say AF and neg. You can give individualized feedback, and that feedback goes just to the competitor. It doesn't go to both teams. Just keep in mind that the coaches also see the feedback you give as well. And on this side of the page, you'll see timers that you can use to help you time the round. I generally just use my cell phone or a stopwatch. I find that a little bit easier, but there are built-in timers for you in the ballot and in the online debate space. Okay, so that's basically what you need to know to get into the virtual space and also fill out the ballot. But here's just a quick understanding of what Lincoln Douglas is. So Lincoln Douglas debate involves students affirming or negating a resolution. The resolution this month is about whether or not the World Trade Organization should allow sharing, I think, of patent information for the COVID vaccine. What's interesting about Lincoln Douglas is that students are debating about values and value criterions, or deciding which side is the most moral. The structure of the round is as follows. So the first speaker is always the affirmative, and they have 6 minutes to lay out their speech and basically provide you with their opening arguments. The negative then has a chance to question the affirmative for 3 minutes. Then the negative has the opportunity to present their case and then rebut the affirmative's case. Then there's another 3-minute questioning period where the affirmative gets to ask the negative questions about their speech. The affirmative speaks again to kind of rebut what the negative said and rebuild their case. Same thing with the negative. And in this last negative speech, they're kind of crystallizing why they think they should have won. And then the affirmative does the same at the end speech. So the affirmative does get to speak first and last, but the negative has a longer preceding speech. But both sides do have 10 minutes to make their case, and they do have 5 minutes of prep time, which they can ask you to take in between speeches, and they'll let you know when they want to take their prep time, and then they also get to question each other. So again, the resolution needs to be evaluated in terms of value. So what ought to be instead of what is. That's kind of the key idea, is what ought to happen, not what is happening right now. So values, when I say value, is I mean something that's intrinsically good. So values that you'll see Lincoln Douglas debaters use are things like life, liberty, justice, happiness, safety, autonomy. Each debater is going to have their own value, and they're going to try and prove to you why their world, why the affirmative world or the negative world best upholds morality and the value that they've picked, and also probably their opponents. Students are encouraged to kind of research and bring in some facts and statistics, but their case really should hinge on applicable works of philosophy. You're looking for people who can provide the best sound logic and ethos of their side and not just rattling off facts and statistics. The debate should be clear. You should be able to understand each student's points they're trying to make, and you're only evaluating the arguments that they've brought up. That was really clear and understandable. Debaters should always be civil and professional with one another. And they also need to try and create a clash for you. So after each student has given their side of the case, they should also explain to you the clash between their arguments and why one is better than the other. They shouldn't kind of just try and void each other's arguments. They need to tackle them head on. Once a student has kind of laid out their arguments, they're not really allowed to bring any new argumentation into the debate. So you should ignore that if they try and bring in a new point later on in the debate. Also, it's really important that judges remain objective evaluators of both sides. Students don't get to pick which side they're debating in any given round. So even if you think we shouldn't be sharing patents with other countries in light of COVID, you can't really bring that into consideration when you're judging the round. But in the end, you're the judge. You have to decide who was the most convincing. And I'm going to email this out as well, but this is going back to speaker points. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do I decide how many speaker points to give a student? This is a great rubric to use to decide how many speaker points you're going to give. You're judging speaker points based on arguments they've given, how well they rebut their opponent's attacks to their case, how organized they are, how well did they actually speak and communicate with you. That's another big part of this. So I would use this rubric to help you gauge what the speaker points should be for each student. We usually don't give anyone below a 22. Anything below a 22 kind of signals to the runners of the tournament that something went really wrong during the round. Either the student was really unprofessional, was cursing, was yelling, something really terrible needed to happen for you to give someone below 22 points. Cheating is another thing that might happen. Okay. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you judging, and please let me know if you have any questions about the presentation.